So let's talk about better returns for coffee producers. As a result of the last 2 to 3 years of very low international prices, 30% below 10-year averages, value addition as a solution for coffee producers to protect themselves against extreme price volatility has become a trending topic of our industry. If producers are able to cover the cost of production, guarantee a good return and enjoy a sustainable livelihood, we can safeguard the future of our industry. Since the 1990s, production has increased between 60 and 65%, but 74% of that increase comes from just 5 origins: Brazil, Vietnam, Colombia, Indonesia and Honduras. This leaves many origins very vulnerable to international demand. They are price takers as opposed to price setters, and competing with many other origins in the same position. The good news, of course, is that consumption continues to grow steadily at a rate of about 2% per annum, even during this COVID crisis. And it means by 2050 we will need 300 million bags of production to keep pace with demand. Obviously, value addition can be achieved by investing in the coffee itself, good agricultural practices, inputs, pruning, etc., improving quality and yields. Growing yields from 2 to 3 kilos per tree to 20 to 30 kilos is value addition in itself. Bearing in mind that it is estimated that only 10% of the global retail revenue remains in origin, I have spent the last 2 years looking at ways that farmers can add value to their coffee, green or roasted, earn more revenue from the value chain, a bigger piece of the pie, and this is what I would like to talk to you about today. But first of all, I'd like to ask you a question. If I show you this slide and ask you what shape you see, what will you say? I think you'll all answer that it's a square, right? But sorry, it's not, it's a cube. It's all about perspective and perception. And it's no different with value addition. There are many avenues and angles to explore. What will work for one may not work for another. What will add value for one may not add value for another. What is important is to know the options, to know what they involve, what are the required investments, what are the risks, and of course, what are the potential rewards. So these are the questions I would like to explore with you today. What is the potential for the producers in the specialty market segment today, and what is required for them to be more successful in this space? What do you need to do to differentiate yourselves and create more visibility? What are the main avenues for direct trade and value addition, considering both green and roasted coffee? But first of all, let's take a quick look at the specialty market. As consuming markets develop and mature, consumer preferences and purchasing habits change. There is an increasing demand for better and different coffees, and this provides potential for premium and specialty coffees. I'm sure you've all heard of the waves of development of our industry. The first wave in the 1950s, 60s brought coffees to the masses for home consumption. The second wave brought premium coffee to the market and also brought differentiation and of course the all-important coffee shop and coffee chain, which we now see on every single street corner. The third wave formed the backbone of today's specialty market. Independent businesses, the new generation roaster, coffee buyer, coffee shop owner, retailer and barista. These professionals turn the focus to the growers, to the origin, to the terroir, to the stories that surround the coffee's provenance. Their focus is also very much on quality and taste. Today everybody wants greater variety, a better coffee experience. All of this has led to a fourth wave in the specialty coffee market, where the attention is turned to the science, to the complexity of production, of post-harvest processing, to the complexity of roasting and brewing. So what can producers do to set them up successfully for value addition and a price premium? I've already mentioned quality, and I cannot stress enough that to get a premium for your coffee, getting the quality right has to be the number one priority. Just as the buyer wants to know the supplier, it's very important that you understand your buyer. What does he expect in terms of green coffee and in terms of taste profile and every other requirement he might have to become a satisfied customer? In order to speak the same language, you will need to learn about coffee quality, take advantage of processing and sensory trainings, work towards one of the recognised standards, for instance the Coffee Quality Institute Q grading or the SCA Quality Skills Programme. You'll need to build up reputation and loyalty, and your level of service needs to be first class. Concluding a contract is only the beginning. Execution of that contract needs to be timely and professional. Sampling must be fully representative. Internal logistics and export procedures must be put in place. Make 100% sure that the quality you sell is the quality you ship and deliver. Pay close attention to post-harvest processing, to drying the coffee and to storing the coffee and to packing the coffee properly. Take every step and precaution to guarantee against quality degradation. If a buyer has bought an 86 plus coffee, he's going to expect delivery of an 86 plus coffee. Maybe here we should just stop briefly to talk about sampling. Often this will be the first product that a buyer or potential buyer will receive from you. Make sure it counts. Most buyers will taste a sample, especially if it arrives in a nice package with a nice label, with all the details of the sample. It's been well prepared, maybe a photo, maybe a bit of a story. If the sample arrives in a torn and tatty package with no information and coffee leaking, the buyer may not even taste the sample. One thing I cannot stress enough is good and clear information and communication. Things can go wrong, they often do, but as long as the buyers are kept informed, they will usually be understanding. The worst thing for a buyer is for the roastery to run out of coffee and not to have been informed that there was a port delay or it was raining and you couldn't pack the container. Create your own brand identity. Make it speak to yourself. Make it show your values and your story and your company. Create the story yourself. Have a good informative and interactive website. Use social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Create a buzz around your business, around the people, the culture, the history, the values and your services, but of course also of your coffee. And once you've got all this lined up, you'll need to find a buyer. And there are lots of different ways this can happen. A buyer's visit to origin, or maybe via email contact, or via your website or social media feeds, or maybe through direct sampling, or at a trade show, or even through your local association, or perhaps a more international association. But don't expect the buyers to come to you. You need to be proactive and persistent. So now let's look at some of the routes to value addition for green coffee. The first key opportunity for producers to add value is to enter into a direct trade or buyer partnership. There may be intermediaries facilitating the movement of the coffee throughout the value chain, but for the third and fourth wave, the link between buyer and seller is the new normal. In this market segment, most buyers visit origin frequently to see where their coffee comes from, to know the producer of the coffee. For them, coffee has become a relationship product. Although their businesses are driven primarily by quality, they build other factors into their business models, and here there can be many different angles. Direct trade, farmer partnerships, price transparency, value chain traceability. They may demand special processing, pulp natural, honey processed, or a particular preparation, zero defect, screen 18 up, or a particular certification, organic, fair trade, rainforest. Over the years, coffee consumption has become a lifestyle experience. For buyers, therefore, travelling to origin has not just about visiting and knowing the supplier. It is also very important for them to find out the stories, the storytelling, bringing to life the coffee, bringing to life the origin, the producers, their culture. It's an experience that they can share with their own buyers. The second route to premium buyers is via specialty importer or a specialty wholesaler. Reaching the end users can be a pretty daunting task for producers, but as the specialty industry has evolved, so have the number of specialty importers and specialty businesses increased. There are also buyer clubs or groups, a little bit less formal, but they are just as effective in rooting out top quality coffee from around the world and using collective buying power to get hold of and split coffees between themselves that might have been inaccessible individually. Even the major multinational commodity trade companies have set up their specialty arms, which is an indication in itself of the importance of this market segment. They are able to buy in larger volumes. In many cases, they provide much needed pre-finance to the producers, and also they finance the coffee for their buyers. Indeed, these special entities are able to bridge a gap for both sides of the value chain. They can guarantee quality, they can provide risk mitigation, and they can do the logistics of moving the coffee. Many of these importers have online sales platforms. Some will specialise in certain origins or certain coffees, but they will all provide lots of information. They are expert in creating a market and are keenly aware of the need to bring something new, interesting and exciting all the time to their buyers. Another avenue of direct trade to explore is e-commerce. Increasingly, we live in a world where we are in front of a computer or are having our smartphone in our hands. And today we live in an instantaneous age. So creating online visibility and presence is almost a prerequisite for success. We already mentioned having a good website and using social media, and these are essential for marketing communication. But there are some third-party commercial online platforms which can be used if you don't have access to your own, or your own is not suitable to take your message to potential buyers. There are an increasing number of online platforms which are aiming to create a virtual marketplace to match buyer demand and seller availability electronically. Producer-focused Algrano is one such organisation. It answers the need in this space. It aims to help producers establish more direct links with buyers, promoting transparency and traceability in the marketplace, supporting the producer with a range of services: quality, marketing, financial, logistical and even risk management. Another one is Cropster, which offers a basket of products including Cropster Hub, which offers some 1,000 lots of coffee lying in warehouses around the world, which are available to its client base. Beyond Coffee, or Baco, is the brainchild of Dutch development agency Progresso. It was launched in 2018. It allows business to be fully transacted online, using blockchain technology and with full or as much privacy as the parties to the contract wish. Finally, there are two multi-product marketplaces that are worthy of mention: Almacena, which concentrates on products from Africa, and Producers Marketplace. Specialty auctions have been pioneered and popularised by the renowned Cup of Excellence. Alliance for Coffee Excellence aims to create awareness and showcase the image, the profile and the value potential of an origin, a region, or even a single estate. Such is its role in specialty coffee that even in the year of COVID, it was able to hold 8 virtual competitions and auctions in 2020. The results speak for themselves. There's no shortage of demand for top quality coffee and unique character coffee. ACE also holds private collection auctions, which can be more targeted and provide more visibility for undervalued origins. The Yemeni Keema auction is an example of this, where the top price coffee fetched $207 per pound. Some origins hold their own successful auctions. The best example of this is the Best of Panama, and again it's terribly successful. In 2020, the winning coffee from Finca Sofia a geisha was sold at $1,300.50 per pound. Other origins, single estates and coffee hubs are beginning to experiment with auctions to various levels of success. The Singapore Coffee Association held its first auction in 2020 in a bid to become a regional hub for specialty coffee. In May 2021, Sensible Development, an auction platform service provider that creates and hosts bespoke auctions for its clients, held its own auction as a result of producer demand. It has a slightly lower entry level than Cup of Excellence, 84 plus, and also aims to sell slightly larger lots of around 75 bags. In all of these examples, the competition to find the top 10 to 30 lots meeting the required quality criteria is almost as important as the auction itself. Local and international juries go through different rounds of coffees, whittling hundreds down to the last few. And all of these cupping rounds provide discovery of new and upcoming coffees. In summary, via auctions, small volumes of exceptionally high coffee earn international attention and repute. They provide a marketing and promotion tool rather than a purely commercial tool. But importantly, they create visibility and brand awareness that can lead to future value addition. Selling green coffee at a premium is only one perception of value addition. Now let's consider value addition in terms of roasted coffee. As with green coffee, there's more than one route to market, but similarly, a strong online presence, website and social media will be key for success. The easiest way to sell roasted coffee is into one's own local domestic market, but this will not be without effort. Most origin countries are the least developed, with little disposable income for coffee, and hence most of the local coffee is of cheap and poor quality. Producing countries account for only 30% of global production. However, the rapid growth of the middle classes and the millennial generation provide an opportunity for more homegrown value addition. It's predicted that whilst the mature consuming countries will add value to their coffee consumption over the next years, these lesser developed countries will be the ones that grow consumption by volume. By creating strong local demand, producers are able to protect themselves against international price fluctuations. To achieve success in the domestic markets, and certainly if you're contemplating exporting roasted coffee, there are several challenges to overcome. Technical equipment and technical skills to roast and produce good quality coffee are often lacking, and there's very basic brewing and barista capacity. And importantly, coffee culture is lacking to guarantee the offtake. These foundations all need to be laid for success. Selling roasted coffee overseas has never been easy, but one could say it's never been easier. With major online shopping platforms, Amazon, eBay, Alibaba, there's nothing to stop a producer going it alone, roasting, packing and offering his coffee for sale globally. But even before finding a buyer, there are lots of factors to consider, questions to ask oneself. What does the consuming market want in terms of roast and taste profile? What type of buyer should be my target market? What kind of packaging works best? Will the product meet local manufacturing, food safety and health requirements? Will the product arrive fresh enough to be competitive? How do I choose the correct price point? These are just a few of the considerations, things with which the producer might struggle. Having an overseas partner for the finished product could be key to the success of this business model. Somebody with good local knowledge and a business network to sell the coffee, whilst the partner concentrates on bringing coffee to the market, managing the in-country sales, managing the inventory and after sales. The farmer can concentrate on the next crop and making sure the quality is its best. For the farmer, this might mean less value addition, but it has the benefits of reducing the risk and certainly the finance costs over a long period before he's paid for his coffee. All of this certainly points to the requirement for a well thought out and sound business plan. Roasting and selling the coffee in the consuming country is another model which is similar to roasting in origin, but its success probably hinges even more so on having a partner or advisor, somebody with an vested interest in the business. Often this partner can be somebody from the same nationality, the same country, maybe even a relative. Again, in this model, the ownership of the coffee usually passes from the farmer or the producer at the point of export to the partner, the importer, and the roles are clearly demarcated. The biggest advantage, of course, of roasting in the country of consumption is guaranteeing a fresher product and eliminating the need to move the coffee by air, which makes often the price of the coffee uncompetitive, coffees which have been roasted locally. An extension to this last model is to move the coffee along the value chain using service providers, with the aim of selling directly B2B or even directly to the consumer. This is the model I explored in my value addition paper, where the producer remains the owner of the coffee until the point it's sold. We are now in the middle of testing this concept, having bought some small amounts of coffee to the UK, which have been now toll roasted and packed in single origin 250 grams and 1 kilogram packs, both bean and roast and ground. And also we've produced a single serve Nespresso compatible product, which is a blend of the 4 origins. The coffee is now being offered for sale at $11.75 per 250 grams, $28.30 per kilo, and at $5.50 per pack of 10 capsules. With project funding, a bespoke website and online sales platform has been developed, and we are using social media to advertise the coffee, promote the lots, promote what we've got, promote the discounts, promote the bundles, with lots of follow-up and chasing of the likes to try and persuade people to buy the coffee. It sounds and looks great, doesn't it? If you want to find out more, please visit our website. However, having an attractive product available and gaining sales traction are two different things. The challenge is how to create visibility in a very noisy space. Industry experts will tell you that it can take between 5 and 10 years of hard graft to build up brand equity and reputation and loyalty. Our project may be interesting, may provide a learning lesson, provide lots of useful data, proof of concept, but it is only the beginning. I do believe, however, that there's lots of potential in this area. The current COVID pandemic has seen e-commerce move forward in leaps and bounds. In China, 32% of coffee retail is done via e-commerce. People have changed their purchasing habits, and this provides an opportunity. Just as we have seen marketplaces develop for green coffee, I think we'll also see further development of marketplaces for roasted coffee. So to summarise, with maturing and increasingly sophisticated consumer preferences, the trend of premiumisation is here to stay. Coffee with special characteristics will be able to achieve a price premium. The demand for niche coffees is growing. Organic, women's coffee, bird-friendly, forest coffee, environmentally protective coffee, carbon neutral coffee, just to name but a few. There is also a growing trend towards new processing and drying techniques to create different and more pronounced flavours. Often buyers are willing to work together with suppliers to experiment in this field, thus removing some of the risk. All of the extra effort to meet special demand will add value to the coffee. Extracting increased revenue from the value chain does not just mean delivering finished roasted coffee to market, but rather there are a range of opportunities available. But I would caution that in exploring and experimenting, this needs to be done with eyes wide open and with no expectation of a sudden windfall profit without any extra effort. Be aware of the investment involved and understand whether the end justifies the means. Selling roasted on the domestic coffee market can protect producers against international price fluctuations, but for added value, this model requires good local skills and a solid coffee culture. Selling roasted coffee overseas brings with it significant challenges to overcome, but also potential for higher rewards if the right niche market can be identified. As I mentioned earlier, to have the best chance of success, it is critical to know your customer and market. Industry coffee events like SCA Expo, World of Coffee or Sintercafe can provide good spaces for coffee education and an opportunity to discover and learn about the latest trends and techniques. They also bring sellers and buyers under the same roof and are a good opportunity for networking. COVID-19 has provided a small silver lining to allow producers to learn and understand the global coffee market better. There is an abundance of virtual information in the form of webinars like today's Green Coffee Summit, podcasts, lecture series. Education and information is accessible and instant. There are also numerous field and producer level initiatives with international and local partners looking to build capacity and improve local skills. I urge producers to take advantage of any skill building trainings that are on offer. They can serve to increase the potential for value addition. As the saying goes, knowledge is power. The basis for my presentation today was the value addition paper I wrote in the second half of 2019. Things have moved on since then, and the international price has skyrocketed in the last few weeks. But ultimately, producer vulnerability to extreme price volatility remains the same. To join me in a panel discussion today, I have invited the people behind 3 of the case studies I used to illustrate the opportunities open to producers. I hope that by sharing their perception and perspective, they will bring to life what are the complex but potentially very rewarding opportunities of value addition. Thank you.